It's such a struggle to film a sit-down video because this is the only room in my house where I can get good lighting, but there's like nothing in this room, so I have to put up like posters and postcards to make it more interesting and fun for you guys. So hope they look good today. That's why the background always changes when I film these videos. But today I am filming a video talking about American high school in the United States, to be very exact. I am a senior now. School starts in about a week for me. I am going to cry. Anyways, I tried to film this video about a year ago, but I hated school so much at that time and it really showed in the video. And I didn't want to post a video where I was so negative about something, so I trashed that video a long time ago, but I think I'm better now. I am ready to talk about school and just to like tell you guys how it's different from schools in other countries. I mean, I don't really know about the schools in other countries, but I'm just going to talk about how it is in the United States. I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram. Got a lot of repetitive questions, so I wrote down things to guide me through this video. So first I'm going to talk about when I go to school and when I get out of school, and this really depends on what school you go to. I go to a public high school in Alabama. My school starts exactly at 8:15, but I know other schools start earlier and some schools might start a little later. And I get off at 3:35. Some schools might end at 2:30, some schools might end at 4, I don't know, it really depends. But in Korea they have this thing called yaja, which is where they stay after school and just study and review. But we don't have that. After school we are kind of forced to go home more for safety issues because there aren't like full staff to make sure that we're safe inside the school. Unless you have club activity or sports afterwards, we are all forced to go home or go wherever. Do we pick out our own schedules? Yes and no. We don't get to pick our schedule completely, but we do get to pick out our classes. We have requirements that we need to fulfill in order to graduate. So for my school, we need to take 4 years or 4 classes of core classes, which are English, math, science, social studies, or history. And then you need like electives to fill out all of your credits in order for you to graduate. Since I have to take 4 science classes, out of all the science classes that my school offers, I get to pick out the 4 science classes that I want to take. So what I did was I took biology, chemistry, AP chemistry, and anatomy for my 4 science classes. But some people might take intro to biotech, some people might take criminal science or whatever that is, I don't know. Some people might take earth science, I don't know. And for math also, you get to pick like your levels too, I guess, because you might decide to take easy math classes and some people might choose to take harder classes. So for like advanced classes, of course you have to qualify for it and make sure that you're ready to take those harder classes, but you do get to choose what classes you want to take. You don't get to choose like your teachers and like exact classes. For my school, we get a big sheet of paper at the end of the school year that lists out all the courses that are offered, and then we pick out the classes that we want to take, and then we turn it in, and then the counselors kind of look over and make sure you have everything that you need and that you're on track to graduate on time, and then they put our schedule for us. I hope I answered that correctly. How many classes a day? Again, this really depends on the school you go to. My school is kind of weird. We have block schedule, which means we take 4 classes a day, but each class is 90 minutes long, and we have an hour lunch break. But because we have 4 classes a day, our schedule kind of rotates. So on Monday I might take English first block, and then Tuesday I might have math first block. So yeah. But I know a lot of schools have like 8 to 9 periods that are like 45, 50 minutes long, and I think that's more normal. resting periods or resting times. We don't have a resting time or like a break time. We do, but they're 5 minutes long and they're mostly for us to walk around and to find our next class. And I guess that's something next that I want to talk about. We don't stay in one classroom. I know in Korea you have like your like homeroom and teachers rotate around and you take classes with all the same people but like with different teachers. But in the US we move around and your classmates change every class period and the teachers stay in their own rooms. I like that because you get to move around and you get to meet a lot of new people, but also it's harder to make friends because your classmates change constantly. Let's talk about GPA. GPA stands for grade point average. I don't know if I can explain this correctly, but from what I know, GPA is just a simple way of seeing how the student did in all of their classes, an average. So let me try to organize this. Our grading system is in like the ABCD scale. If you have all A's in all of your classes and you take all of your 4 points and average them, you have a 4.0 GPA. If you have a 4.0 GPA, it just tells people that you are doing good in all of your classes. If you take an AP class or an advanced class and your school gives you a 4.5 or a 5 for those classes, your GPA can be higher than a 4. So if you have a 4.4 GPA, it just tells you that you took harder classes and that you did good in all of them. So that's why a lot of people focus on keeping their GPA as high as they can, because it just shows that you worked hard and that you took harder classes. GPA is not everything though. I think this is like what's most different from Korea's education system, is that here I feel like colleges look for very well-rounded students who are good academically but also very involved in school and sports, clubs, volunteering and all that. But Korea, I feel like they just look at like your grades most of the time. Anyways, yeah, being involved in school, being involved in clubs, sports, also volunteering is also really important. Schools really encourage us to be part of clubs, and being a part of clubs and being like a president of the club or being like a secretary looks really good on your resume. SAT and ACT, I feel like I could make a whole separate video about this, but also don't know what I would say because I'm still taking these tests. SAT and ACT, they're college entrance exams. We sign up on their website and we just take them whenever we want. Some people take them starting like 8th grade, 9th grade. Some people take them until like December of senior year. And yes, you can take them multiple times. You just have to pay every time you take it. It's good to take both and see which one you do better on. ACT, you just have to manage your time more wisely. And ACT has a science section, which the SAT section does not. Parties. A lot of people ask about parties. I don't go to parties. I'm just not a party person. But yeah, there are parties that students just throw on the weekends. People drink, people smoke. But I feel like that's how it is in every high school and every country. Oh, this is something that's really different from Korea. So our first semester is from August to December, and our second semester is from January to May, June, and we graduate in May or June, when Korean students graduate in the winter. Just because I'm in 12th grade and I was born in the 2001, it doesn't mean that everyone in my grade was born in 2001. Some people are born in 2002. I think the cutoff's in like July or August, so if you were born in August 2001, you would be like the oldest among the 12th graders, and if you're born in late July and you're a senior or a 12th grader, you would be the youngest among the 12th graders, if that makes sense. I'm born in September, so I'm just the older ones among my crowd. This is something that American people say, but freshman equals 9th grade, which is the first year of high school. Second year, 10th grade, sophomore. Third year, junior, 11th grade. And the fourth year, 12th grade, equals senior. Oh, I still have so much to talk about. People want to know about lockers, if we like decorated and like talk with our friends in front of lockers. Again, my school is really weird. We have lockers, but I've seen maybe 1 or 2 people use it ever. So we don't really use our lockers, but I know that other schools use lockers. And in middle school, I did have a locker, and yeah, I did decorate my locker, which is like the most extra thing that you could do in middle school. Homework. This depends on what kind of classes you take and your teachers, but if you take AP classes, you're going to have a lot of homework, and honestly, most of the time, at least for me, they're not required, but recommended, and if I want to do well in the classes, I probably should be doing all the homework that are given each day, but not a lot of teachers like come by and check it off for a grade, at least for the teachers I had last year. AP stands for Advanced Placement. AP classes are college level classes that you take in high school. They're a lot harder than a grade level class, and basically there's an exam at the end of the school year, and when you pass it, you can possibly get a college credit, so you don't have to take it again in college. A lot of people take AP classes because it boosts their GPA, because again, if you get an A, you get a 5 point for your GPA, and even if you get a B, you still get a 4. So yeah, that's why people take AP classes, and when you take a lot of AP classes, colleges see that you challenge yourself and that you took harder classes, so it's a bonus. Sorry, this video is probably boring. Uniforms. Uniforms are only for private schools, but we do have a pretty strict dress code. We basically can't wear shorts, and we can't really wear leggings unless the shirt is 4 inches above our knees, which is stupid. That's basically a dress. But people still like wear leggings with normal shirts anyways towards the end of the school year when teachers don't care anymore. And we can't wear like tank tops. We can't wear crop tops. We can't wear off-the-shoulder tops. But also it's really cold inside, so like I never feel like I want to wear shorts or like revealing clothes. Makeup and hair. People were asking if there were like any restrictions. Here we do not. They don't care if you have pink hair. You can come to school with pink hair. You could come to school with rainbow hair. They do not care. And with makeup, again, they don't care. Using phone. This really depends on the teacher. A lot of my teachers didn't collect phones, but they just said don't use it when they're teaching. So if we have like a free time for 5 minutes, we can use our phones. Or if we had to look up something real quick, we could use our phones. But other than that, they're not super strict about it. School lunches. I don't eat school lunches just because they just don't look good. And the portions look tiny to me. But you just get like hamburgers or chicken tenders or chicken nuggets, tacos. I don't know. They're supposed to be healthy, but they don't really look healthy to me, and they don't look appetizing to me either. I think this is like the last repetitive thing that people wanted to know about: how teachers teach, what a normal class period looks like. Most of the time I walk in. When the class period starts, the teacher just introduces what we're gonna do for the day. If it's like a history class, the teacher usually has like a PowerPoint and they lecture. If it's a science class, same thing, but we might do a lab. For a math class, what my school teachers do, they have an iPad that they hook up to the board. We have like a math packet or math notes, and they just like solve along with us and we just follow them, and basically they lecture and show us how to do the math problems. For English, we do a lot of like interacting, we do a lot of discussions, we do a lot of group work where we're separated into groups and just like talk about books or a piece of writing. There are a lot of electives too, like band, PE, art, photography, etc. Oh, I also want to talk about like the tests and quizzes. In Korea, from what I know, is they have like midterms and finals basically, but that's like the only time they take tests. So they would like cover everything and then take a test at the end to see how much they understood. But here, if there are like 12 chapters that we need to learn and we take the class for the whole year, we take a test every chapter. So after we learn chapter 1, we take a chapter 1 test. After we learn this chapter 2, we take a chapter 2 test. Basically, we have tests every like 2 to 3 weeks. If that class is only for a semester, we have tests like every week, and then quizzes in between just to get us prepared for the test. And then we also have midterms and finals, but they're not as significant as like the midterms and finals in Korea. For grades, I don't know how it is in Korea. I did not go to school for that long in Korea, but I'm just gonna talk about my chemistry class. Every time we take a test, it goes into a grade book. Classworks obviously don't affect our average grade as much as tests do. Teachers put in all the grades in the grade book for us for a quarter, and everything averages up at the end. Our final average could be like a 91, and that would equal an A. So now I'm just gonna go back and look at the questions that you guys asked because I'm running out of things to say. Racism. I see a lot of racism and like bullying. In high school, I don't think racism is really a thing. It's more like people being ignorant and stupid if they do make a racist comment, and they're just stupid comments, so you would just have to brush it off because I'm not even going to waste my energy trying to fight that. And for bullying also, I mean, yeah, bullying exists. It's not like what you see in movies where they get shoved into lockers and all that, but people might just make offensive comments, and that is also bullying. Is it like how it is shown in movies? If you're talking about something like the cheerleader, popular blonde girls walking down the hallway and everyone's staring and being like, oh my gosh, look at that girl. No. I'm just gonna end this video here. I feel like I talked for a while. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of your questions. Just leave them down below and I'll try to answer all of them. But I tried my best to cover like the really repetitive questions. I hope I don't die editing this video because I rambled so much. I hope it was informative though. If you're starting high school, just piece of advice would be don't stress out too much on the classes that you're taking. They really don't mean a lot. When we are given the chance to pick out our classes, we feel like, oh my gosh, if I take biology, does that mean that I have to like major in biology? Nope. And just because you want to major in biology, that doesn't mean that you have to take all biology related classes. Take whatever you're interested in. Don't let your best friend decide things for you. Make sure you're learning how to say yes or no to the things that you want and the things that you don't want. Learn how to make your own opinions. Don't be scared to be alone. Just because you're walking down the hallway by yourself, and just because you're eating alone, or just because you're at the library studying alone, does not mean that you're a loser. It just means that you're independent and that you're able to do things on your own, and that you are good at managing your time, doing things by yourself. Because sometimes I don't want to sit in the lunchroom with people and just like listen to gossip. I just want to get out and do my homework somewhere else alone. But I get scared that people will look at me like I'm a loser. But you're really not. Just screw them. Do you. You got this. I know school is coming up soon. High school is really what you make out of it. It can be fun, but it can also be so bad. I want to make a high school story time later, but like after I graduate, so I don't get in trouble by my school. I feel like people in college are like, oh my gosh, high school is nothing, but everyone has different experiences. High school can be hard, and I can 100% relate to that. So if you're struggling in high school, you're not alone. You will make it out. Wishing the best for all of you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.